what I'm doing here, Patreon, and I'm new with that. I started last year, but I didn't tell people or something. But I've only got Dr. Bruce Cornett and then Ronnie Dawson, that was an alien contactee, truck driver. But one of the great people that runs containers and flatbed out of Houston, people know somebody and they connect with me and they come to me and they find me and they connect to me on LinkedIn and say, I heard Ronnie Dawson and he's one of my truck drivers. I'm like, whoa, that trips me out. I was like, you heard that alien contact story? So, folks, this stuff that we're hearing about on the other side with spirits or alien or extraterrestrials or your higher self, regardless of what language we use, these people are all coming together, and it's sort of spooking me out. But, you know, we can't do fear. We just have to face reality that we don't know everything. And the more you know, the less you know is what I've learned. So it's, Robert, you're not worried about working with me because I work with the paranormal and I work with groups, UFO groups and alien groups and cosmology and science.
Well, yeah, I mean, in network marketing, in multi-level, you learn you never want to be judgmental. You know, we're all, you know, if you believe in God, which I know you do, and you know, you realize that God made each and every one of us in His likeness at different levels. And the bottom line is, you know, we're all the same, but we're all different. And, you know, you learn not to be judgmental one way or the other. When you're talking about team, and ultimately you mentioned Chicken Soup for the Soul, and the two people that wrote that book were Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. Mark Victor Hansen early in his career used to give the acronym of TEAM, which is Together Everybody Achieves Miracles. So it's just, if you're looking to create a team, it's finding people that have got a similar interest and want to go to a similar place and figure out how you can collaborate rather than rather than work from competition. You know, life is about collaboration and developing the right strategic alliances of people you want to work with, and then figuring out how you're going to monetize it in a way that fits the purpose of, you know, the people you're working with.
So you suggest that we go forward then with the way my team is splitting up and all is going to their YouTubes, but they've learned that doesn't put money on the table. But I said, well, at least, you know, I've had stuff out there for years, but they were trailers for our clubs, our events, our books. I used it just to put pictures with sound or with sort of like a project. I don't know. How do you
let's take a look at money on the table for a second. First of all,
okay.
You know, you can always get an advertiser if you know what your audience is. If you know how many people that are tuning in, and you know, and if you knew some kind of demographics of the people that are tuning in, that's one way of getting money on the table. Another way of getting money on the table, and I started, and I mentioned to you about a gift card program of a company that I've got an affiliate with. And again, with the problem with with what's going on with the immunity today, more and more people are realizing that if they want to live longer, age more gracefully, it's keeping their immune system strong. Most of the people, you hear the majority of the people that are not able to make it if they catch the virus are the people that have got a weakened immune system. So there's a way that we could create wealth there too. So there's multiple different ways to create income for anybody and everybody, and I'm happy to mentor any of the people that are listening that are serious about wanting to develop another stream of income. All they have to do is get back to you, Teresa, and then I'm happy to work with them on your behalf.
Wow. Well, I've got that patreon.com/Teresa J. Morris. And
yep.
It says I'm building a community, but are you familiar? Because I don't know, being a songwriter, singer, and my ministry was music, and I crossed over into website domains and working with radio in 2012. But I'm just one person, and now that I've got time, I feel like the government, they gave me back my government contract number, and I just went from ACIR to American Communications Online, but it's so long to say that I've adopted my Ascension Center organization and my articles and bylaws because we started those back in the 84, 83, 84 when I was in that pyramid. But we took them and we finalized them with a lot of people. It was over 300, and we were going to the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and we were having these spiritual science groups with your spiritual center. I was on radio in Hawaii, and I had Psychic Network. We had a lot of things we were working on, and people were worried about our Stargate. They said, just remember the word Stargate, but then it turns out people from Stanford, or what was that institute, Stanford? Anyway, the people that were working, they were worried about McMoneagle and all those people that were doing the government. We had Army groups. But see, I was in the military and wore a uniform too. It got all combined because then people didn't know if it was the military or civilian. So I just said, what the heck? You know, the government sent somebody from D.C. to close out my file with the Navy and then put me on a government contract and then sent me to the mainland. And I was watching this thing going, God, help me. So I did a lot of praying. And I feel like I'm on my spiritual path, but you were asking me where I was. I was like, well, I'm going with the flow because that's what everybody's being told to do. We're staying at home. We're keeping our distance. We're going with the flow. We're being good Americans. And we love the global community. We know they're all other countries. We've been to most of them. And yet we've got to help each other. But first we have to put our own mask on, which we said in the all my engineer, my space flight people, my space explorers, what do they call them? Pilots. I have a lot of pilots around the world that keep me informed. But we're putting on our own face mask, and then we're getting with Robert. Now, Robert, you put yours on, I put mine on, and we take care of our families. Now what? And you're with all these affiliates, and you can hook people up. You're a networker. I'm a networker. But doing it together with some videos that we can create our own app. We can help people. And then should we list things that we feel like we can do? Because, you know, so many people, you know, I don't know, you know, I mean, I've seen what you've done, and I know the kind of person you are. Building another platform, but we have to. There's a new chapter coming. So what do you want to do professionally? Well, I've told people I was going to build a directory, okay? And in that, I was only going to put people I trust, and they know if it's not me as Teresa, I'm going to do ACO for all the different groups because of the acronym. But it doesn't have to be that, but that's what I call it, ACO Club.
Here's a strategy that I would. Okay, let me give you the strategy what I would do in relationship to what I believe I just heard you.
Relationship.
Well, I would create some kind of a survey that people can fill out. Give them some kind of reward for filling it out. It could be some kind of an informational digital product one way or the other. I mean, to me, that would be what I would do. The other thing that I would do is not put my mask on but take my mask off. You know, you're at home. You've got time to connect with people. That's how you and I connected. That's what we start our conversation this evening about. And then rather than try to pitch them on something, focus on what you can do to make a connection. You want to create a know, like, and trust with the other person. Make a positive difference. There's many different ways to be able to do that. It's based on how you can guide people to something as you've taken the time to listen to them, ask the right questions, and then guide them to it. It could be just guiding them to something as simple as, you know, something they can get for free on YouTube. It costs you nothing. But what you want to do is you want to position yourself as a trusted advisor. You know, if you go back to Trout's book, it's called Positioning. You know, you want to position yourself as a trusted advisor. How do you do it? You keep it human and make real connections and figure out what you can do that will make a positive impact in somebody else's life. And if you can do that with one person a day, 5 days, 6 days a week, over a period of time, you're going to meet enough of the right people because, again, if you move people move products, people can make you wealthy. One person can change your life in a positive way. So the point is, what can you do? continually reach out and connect with people. Listen to them, ask questions, figure out how you can do something that will make a positive difference in their life. And if you do that consistently, you're going to have a positive impact on other people's lives. And ultimately, you'll have a positive impact in your life.
That is wow. And the win of Butwin, World Information Network, is what I started years and years ago. And people from New York were calling me in Hawaii because I was putting it in the paper. And they want to know, how can I get in this World Information Network? And it was during the ECO Expo, and people and the government, FBI agents, all kind of intelligence agents. And we didn't even have the internet set up yet with Windows 95 because this was 89 to 94. And we set up the articles and bylaws, and we went with Ascension Center and Psychic Network. So we've got both of those folks. We've got the Ascension Center and the Psychic Network, and we've had it. Now, when I did copyright and patents and all that, we had to do them, and we had to show to the government and all the patent attorneys that we had it in trade and industry. So, Robert, you know about all that because we have patent conferences in Dallas and with Michael, is it Tellinger? I'm sure you know the name, right? Do you know his name?
I'm not
Tellinger.
sure.
You're not sure about him?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, that might be that's probably in one of my other groups, the Alien Contact or Ascension Center. Let's see. Which one is he in? I thought he was in World Information Network. Michael Tellinger. Anyway, I know so many people, but people don't know I know them. Or they don't know that we're talking, except unless you're in the intelligence business. And I do have a lot of friends in business and information security. And Ten Conics, I was hoping John was going to show up, but I'll tell him I mentioned his name, and he helps me in business intelligence and people that we need to help each other because so many people, Robert, they want to know, but they want to know they can trust them. And it's not what they can give, but yet we are in service to others. It's what did we used to say you've got to give to get, but it wasn't to scam people or to spam people in the internet, but it was networking. But that can take on a different air. But you and I stay positive. Now, we know there's a negative downside to people and the internet and the dark web and all that, but the balance is to know that in the dark comes the light, and wisdom helps us. We're the light workers, and we're the truth seekers. Have you got any final words? We've got about 12 minutes left, or more, because we can always go over, but where are you? I need to know that you're clear, or that there's some messages you want to leave with people, because we don't know who wants this. Yeah, and I am recording it, by the way. You asked me earlier, of course. I'll put it out there on Blog Talk, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, FM radio, Blueberry. Oh, gosh, I pay all kind of places out there. And then some that cover me because I've been in business so long, they just carry me free.
Oh, no problem. I've definitely can. Let me comment about the last thing. I mean, for example, we've all got a screen of logic. I mentioned that beforehand. And when you come across somebody that does not line up with your screen of logic,
okay,
you just, you close that door. I could give you different examples. I mean, on the internet, some of the people I've met some scam artists. And, again, I never, they're always wanting to send money, and they always try to play on people's greed. And it's like I might have been born at night, but not last night. Okay. I'm not gonna allow myself to be scammed. Not that I have not been scammed in the past, not by somebody I met on the internet, but again, when you come across somebody that's dark, you start recognizing that. I mean, one of the things I've learned is if somebody is going to continually tell you how righteous they are and how you should trust them, those are the people I don't trust. You don't have to tell me it; just show it to me. People show up by their actions, but unfortunately, many people or most people miss the signs. They miss the signs, and they want to believe. And if you question if I'm right or wrong, let me ask you a question. And I'll ask it to you, Teresa. What color are yield signs?
Yellow.
They haven't been yellow for over 40 years, and how many of them have you driven by?
Really?
They're red and white.